what every woman needs to know for weight loss. Consistency over intensity wins every time. This needs to be plastered across my forehead. I've always been the type all or nothing. When I start all and then I end up doing nothing over and over until I learned the 1% increase from Atomic Habits' best book ever. And I actually started implementing it. And then I began to see consistent results over time.
Gaining belly fat in perimenopause and menopause, even while eating trim healthy and doing all the right things? Feeling exhausted, inflamed, and so done with the scale? Hey, I'm Chris Honeycutt, Jesus follower, trim healthy coach, and your midlife hype girl. I believe God didn't design you to live stuck, bloated, or burned out. This podcast helps you partner with your hormones, ditch the belly fat, and finally feel strong, calm, and confident in a body you actually enjoy living in.
Have you signed up yet for the Beat the Belly Fat workshop? This is a free 3-day live event happening in January where I'm teaching you how to turn fat burning on in midlife without dieting, guilt, or confusion. You'll learn how to eat, move, and support your hormones so you can finally lose that stubborn belly fat. So go to getyourtrimon.com/workshop and register now. It's January 19th, 20th, and 21st. It is free, it is live, and it's going to be a game changer for you. See you there. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Menopause Makeover Podcast. It is Coach Chris here. Sometimes I call myself Honey because I'm bringing the honey nuggets. And also, that is my grandma name. And I've got some really awesome news. I'm going to be a grandmother again. And we are having a little girl. It is our first girl grandbaby. I don't know if you know a lot about my family, but we are very testosterone heavy. I have 7 sons and 2 daughters. And we've got 2 grandsons. And now we have a granddaughter on the way. Super duper excited. Today, I'm here bringing you those honey nuggets. 5 things every midlife woman needs to know about losing fat. When I say midlife, that means you. If you're 40, if you're 50, if you're 60, if you're 70, to me, all of that is midlife. So pull up a seat and let's get going on this. Here is the deal. You might not be where you want to be with your weight. You might be frustrated. You might be doing all the things. You might be trying to do things that aren't working for you and you don't know it yet. Maybe you're doing all the things. Maybe you're wearing the weighted vest and you're walking and you're spinning all the plates and you've got your protein and you're doing your collagen and you're sleeping and all the things. And yet your waistband is tighter or the belly fat is growing and you're wondering what in the world is happening to my body. There are a lot of moving parts and pieces, my friends. There are many pieces to the puzzle of midlife weight gain and belly fat. And so I'm going to be talking about 5 pieces of the puzzle, but I want to tell you there are more, but this is where we want to start. So here is the truth. This is very common for most women to hit their perimenopause and menopausal years and gain 10 to 12 pounds, but you don't have to. This doesn't mean that once you're there that you can't lose it. But what I'll say is this is a common issue that we're all dealing with. And you either A, don't have to if you're not there yet. B, if you are there, there is something that you can do about it. And C, I want to say to the younger women out there, the women in their 30s, start thinking about this now in your late 30s. Do you know that hormones, they start declining in our late 30s? We're like, what? We're too young for menopause. And it's actually not menopause. It is perimenopause. But things begin to change, yes, then. And it's not an all of a sudden deal. You don't just wake up and then the belly fat is piling on. There is a hormonal chaos and storm that is brewing underneath that actually doesn't have to. So let's just get out of agreement with my body is broken or I'm failing or I'll never be able to do this. Just understand our hormones have changed. And that means the rules of weight loss need to change as well. And Friend, I have had to learn this myself. I've had to learn, I feel like, a little bit the hard way, because the things that I was doing back in my late 30s and 40s began to backfire. And actually, I don't even know if backfire is the word. They just stopped working. And so I had to figure out, okay, what is changing and what needs to change? And it was not an overnight fix. Ladies, let me help you play the long game. It's going to take at least 6 months to a year to start supporting your hormones in a way, along with those other pieces of the puzzle we're going to talk about, before you're really going to start seeing some changes. Some of you may feel better immediately, but this is going to take a little bit of time. We did not get here overnight, and we're not going to get out of this place overnight. So we're going to talk about 5 things that we need to know for midlife weight loss. And one of them is, one of the underlying reasons is because we are more prone to stress in midlife, and that shows up as belly fat. When I say stress, I'm not just talking about the stressors of maybe bill paying or life experiences or teenagers or grandkids or aging parents, although all of this plays a part of that. I'm talking even about our nutrition choices can cause stress in our body. Our exercise choices can cause stress, not to mention all those other things I said before. If we're not sleeping, that is stressful. If you are in a fight or flight, if you have a lot of anxiety a lot of the time due to those declining hormones, that is stress. And when we have this overload of stress, that is when we start producing too much cortisol, which will bring in our insulin. And our insulin is a fat storage hormone. And so we begin to start storing more fat than burning fat. So the key is to shift to burning fat. So one of the reasons why we are more prone to stress, and this is the main reason, is because of our declining hormones. It makes us sensitive to these stressors. So we don't have estrogen, which used to help buffer our stress response, our blood sugar, help build muscle, help with cognition. Estrogen is beautiful. There's so many amazing things that estrogen helps with. Now, those levels are declining and shifting, and this makes that cortisol tick louder, faster, and stickier. And cortisol's favorite storage spot, because we have a lot of cortisol receptors in our abdomen, is right around our waistline. So if you feel like belly fat came out of nowhere, it didn't. It has come from hormonal shifts, blood sugar swings, sleep changes, emotional stress, lifestyle stressors, and that constant low-level overwhelm. I don't know about you, but that was the first thing that I began to experience in my perimenopause years, was a constant low-level, either overwhelm or anxiety. Now, I will say this. I had a lot on my plate. In my 40s was when I had all of my 9 children at home all the time. We homeschooled, home everything, and that was a lot to have all of that. Not to mention those declining hormone levels, as well as some adrenal issues that were going on with me. Now, here's what I want to say. Your body is not against you. It is not sabotaging you. It actually is trying to protect you. So when you understand what's going on and the belly fat is connected to the hormones and the stress, you stop blaming yourself. I don't know about you, but I can get really hard on myself. Like, I need to be stricter and I didn't do this perfectly. It's not about that. It's about doing it strategically. So we want to focus on restoration first, calm, regulating your nervous system. I'm sure you're like, what? This feels so elusive. It feels so woo-woo. It feels so not like it's going to make an impact. But let me tell you, regulating your nervous system will help your body release fat. Supporting your hormones and choosing gentle, supportive habits. And there is a time for intensity. There is a time, but it's not all the time. A peaceful woman burns more fat easily than a stressed woman ever will. And if you would have told me that in my late 30s, I would have been like, Right, right. You come here and do what I'm doing and say, let's be peaceful, right? Like, no, there's no peace anywhere. Yes, we are in charge. We're in charge of our own peace levels. And when I began to understand that this was up there, this is a needle mover. This is not just a restrictive diet for a while or over exercise for a while. This is a lifestyle to start cultivating. Ladies, if you're in your late 30s and early 40s, and if you're in your 60s and 70s, we still definitely want to prioritize that. So number one, you need to know that you're less resilient to stress. You are a very resilient woman. But when it comes to stress, if you aren't on with your nutrition, that's stressful. If you're fasting, if you're low carbing, that's stressful. If you're ketoing, that's stressful. If you are over exercising every single day, too intense, that's stressful. If you're not sleeping, that's stressful. So see what I mean? There really does need to be a specific strategy, which is what I love to teach because I have a 5-step program that shows you exactly what you need to do to enter into this. But now we're not talking about that. We're talking about number 2, what you need to know for weight loss in your really 40 plus. Strength training is non-negotiable. It is no longer an option. It is essential. In your midlife, your body loses muscle. And it loses the muscle mass every single year pretty rapidly as you approach postmenopause, unless you stop that. This is because we're losing our hormones. And when we lose our hormones, we lose our ability to build muscle and keep muscle. And so as we lose muscle rapidly, and even as we lose muscle, even if it's slowly, we are slowing down our metabolism. And the strength training is going to be the key to build your muscle, which is the engine that determines how easily you burn fat. So think about muscle is your metabolic gold. It is going to drive metabolism bigger than almost anything else you're doing. And so when I'm saying strength training, I'm saying that we need to overload our muscles and lift heavy. And we need to do this in a progressive way while meeting ourselves, of course, where we are in each phase, which is another thing that I love to do as a menopause fitness specialist and certified personal trainer, also certified trim healthy movement coach. I get this, and I've been doing this for years, and I did it wrong for some years. And now this is the way we need to learn to walk in it. And even now, like my next podcast is actually, how do you do this when you have limitations? We're going to be talking about that. But the thing about it is that it's a non-negotiable. Okay, so strength training boosts your metabolism. It combats insulin resistance. And this is a biggie when it comes to weight loss. We don't want to be in fat storage mode all the time. We want to be in fat burning mode. So we need to be very insulin sensitive. Strength training reduces belly fat indirectly. It strengthens bones and muscles directly. It stabilizes hormones. It supports mood and energy. And it is one of the single most effective things you can do to lose weight in your 40s and beyond. And what we need to do is we need to stimulate those muscles at least 2 times a week. 2 to 3 days a week of strength training is what you want to be doing. More than that, maybe a little too much, depending on your fitness level. So the benefit that you're going to get besides body recomposition, which is wonderful, getting your shape back, is you are going to increase your longevity. Who wants to be strong and live longer and do life with your family and your grandkids and have a best second half? That would be me. What do you need for that? You need muscle. And it's also going to help your mood. It's going to help your brain. Do you know what? As we build our glutes, our brain is more supported. Isn't that interesting? There's a tie there. When we're building our glutes, it helps our brain. So not only is it going to help you with weight loss, but it is going to be a needle mover for really overall health. Quick pause because I don't want you to miss this. If you've been stuck with stubborn belly fat following the Trim Healthy plan or any plan, but you're not seeing the scale budge, or you're feeling like your body has changed and nobody gave you the memo, you are not alone. That's why I'm hosting the Beat the Belly Fat Workshop, a free 3-day live event made just for midlife women like you. We're going to kickstart fat loss without deprivation, shame, or obsessing over every bite. You'll learn how to eat and move for the season of life. what your hormones have to do with belly fat, and the strategies I use inside my coaching program to help women finally get results. It's happening January 19th, 20th, and 21st inside a private pop-up Facebook group with coaching giveaways and real transformation. If you've been wondering what's going on with your body and you're ready to finally feel like you again, this is your next step. So go to getyourtrimon.com/workshop and grab your spot. It's free, but space is limited, and I really want to see you there. Again, you're going to go to getyourtrimon.com/workshop. See you there. Okay, number 3, fiber becomes your best friend for fat loss. I remember my grandmother drinking Metamucil or whatever. I just thought, this is so ridiculous. This is so old people. I did not know the benefits of fiber. Now, I'm not going to be drinking Metamucil, but fiber is your blood sugar's best friend, and your midlife metabolism loves it. Fiber slows down glucose release, stabilizes your insulin, keeps you full, and supports estrogen detox and gut health. And this is a biggie needle mover when it comes to weight loss. I know you hear a lot of people just pounding on the protein. Yes, protein is king, but guess what is queen? Fiber. They must go together. So these fiber-rich foods would be things like your plant kingdom, your veggies, your berries, your chia and flax and beans and sprouted grains and avocados. All of these are beautiful for adding fiber. Now, some other things that you can add would be something like, this is why I use baobab for other reasons as well. Baobab is a fiber, and it's going to give you the vitamin C and the iron that you need. And other things like green banana powder is one, or even green bananas are very high in fiber. And you can use psyllium husk, and you can use ground flaxseed. These are higher fiber options that you can easily add to your smoothies, to your salads, to your meals, and they are going to help you have fewer cravings, steadier energy, better digestion, better detoxification, less bloating, easier fat loss, and these are actually calming to your nervous system. Fiber is not just helpful, it is hormone balancing. Okay, number 4. Belly fat is hormonal. It is not a discipline problem. I bet a lot of you think I just need to be more disciplined. Or maybe some of you are like me and you're like, no, there's something going on here. What's happening? I'm doing the things and here is what's going on. So this is the one that I guess can bring you some relief because you can just get off your own case, stop judging yourself. And let's go with be proactive. Let's go with what can I do to reduce this belly fat? And remember what I said, it is going to take time. Once that belly fat is accumulating, it just seems like it is accumulating so much faster than it going away. And that really is the case, my friend. However, it can happen. You can achieve that. And here are some things that are not going to help with balancing those hormones. Skipping meals, cutting calories, over-exercising, low carb, fasting, pushing harder, those are stressful. Remember when I talked about stress, what does that do? The stress is going to increase cortisol, which is going to increase insulin spikes, which turns on fat storage, which increases inflammation. It also disrupts estrogen and progesterone and thyroid function. Thyroid function, ladies, is our battery. It is your metabolism in a way. So that belly fat, there's a lot of things going on hormonally that we want to support. How do we best support our hormones, especially in this perimenopause and menopausal season? That is what we're going to be talking about is we want to have strategic meals. We want to have strategic exercise. And we also want to make sure we have the other puzzle pieces such as stress reduction, sleep, hydration. I mean, these things seem so basic, but actually they are very hormone supporting and hormone balancing. And we want to look at hormone supporting and balancing foods such as protein, fiber, and then we're going to add our good carbohydrates and or our fats, our E meals, our S meals. And in midlife, guess what? If you're a trim healthy, crossovers are on plan and can be very, very healing and helpful to your body. They can actually, especially what we call a smart crossover, they can actually tell your body, oh, okay, we're not trying to lose weight. Oh, we don't need to slow things down. We're fed. We've got energy. Let's go. Let's rev the metabolism. So these are the things that we want to focus on. The belly fat is hormonally driven. And so we really want to work on supporting those hormones, supporting the cortisol and the insulin, making sure those are in the right order, the right way that they're designed for our body. Lastly, what every woman needs to know for weight loss: consistency over intensity wins every time. And this needs to be plastered across my forehead. I've always been the type all or nothing. When I start all and then I end up doing nothing over and over until I learned the 1% increase from Atomic Habits' best book ever. And I actually started implementing it. And then I began to see consistent results over time. It used to be when I was younger, I could do a intense push for dieting, over exercising, starving, whatever. And I would drop 3-5 pounds. Not anymore. I gain weight when I do that. So your body will respond to consistency. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have intensity with workouts, but that too needs to be very polarized and very strategic. We do need intense workouts for adaptation of our metabolism and our muscles and even our nervous system. But we don't need lots of exercise. We don't need lots of hit or sit. We don't need lots of those type of exercises because they are going to work against us. Skipping meals, like I said, going to backfire. So this is what our body is looking for. And if you are having a hard time creating consistency, I want to point you to a podcast where I talk about this. Creating consistency is a practice, my friend. Let me just give you the key. The key to being consistent is that you get back on it every time you go off. That is the key. How do you do that? It's a quality decision and it is a practice. You're not going to do it perfectly all the time. I still don't do it perfectly all the time, but the more momentum that you build by being consistent, the more results you're going to see, and you're actually going to feel better. And so the key to consistent would be that you're going to get that mindset that I'm learning to be consistent. So your body is looking for consistent meals, consistent protein, consistent fiber, consistent strength training and movement. Those are two different things. Consistent hydration, consistent sleep. The midlife metabolism loves rhythm and flow. God created our bodies to thrive in rhythm. I love what Isaiah 30 says, "In quietness and trust shall be your strength." That's not in panic, not in extremes, not in frustrating punishment, but the benefit of consistency, you guys, it lowers cortisol, it stabilizes insulin, it enhances fat burning, it calms your nervous system, and it creates lasting results without the burnout. Who wants some of that? I do. So the small things done consistently will beat the big things done perfectly every single time.
Did you know that I have a free community of women in midlife just like you? Busy women who are working hard to lose weight with the Trim Healthy plan but feel hijacked by hormones and unexplained weight gain. I share menopause tips, superfood spotlights, delicious recipes, and so much more. Come join us at facebook.com/groups/get your trim on.